Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil.
You fully believe you are sitting across from the woman that pushed your son over a rail and killed him.
That's what I believe.
A girlfriend accused.
I never pushed Malcolm. I was in no way responsible for his death.
She has a history of being violent.
They know how much I love Malcolm.
He was drunk, and you were yelling at him.
Yeah, I yelled.
Did you put your hands on him?
No.
Well, why did he fall?
A mother wants answers.
I really want Chloe to take a polygraph. Take the test and get it over with. Her sister was telling people that she did it.
I thought that I heard her say that she pushed him. I didn't comprehend it.
We had a fight, and I pushed him over the rail. What part of that did you not comprehend? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Okay, I want you to take a look at this couple. They were young, happy high school sweethearts. 21-year-old Malcolm even gave his 19-year-old girlfriend, Chloe, a promise ring. She says they had every intention to spend the rest of their lives together. That is until late last year when their romance ended with a life-shattering event that killed Malcolm and made Chloe a sworn enemy of Malcolm's mom. It was late November when Malcolm tragically fell over the railing of a 3-story apartment building and suffered extensive trauma to his brain that left him in a coma. He passed away just 2.5 weeks later. Now, Malcolm's mom, Stephanie, does not believe this was an accident. She says the only person who was with Malcolm at the time was Chloe, who she now calls the devil. She says Chloe is acting very suspiciously by staying silent, even refusing to take a polygraph offered by authorities. Stephanie is now positive Chloe is responsible for the death of her son, and she wants justice.
Chloe was not the woman I wanted for Malcolm, and he knew that. Chloe moved in with me while her and Malcolm were dating. She didn't cook, clean, didn't do anything. I feel like I let the devil in. If I knew then what I know now, we wouldn't be here today. Chloe had a history of fighting with Malcolm. I saw scratches on Malcolm's neck, and I confronted Chloe about it and told her, keep your hands off of my son. She admitted to it. After that, I thought Chloe was done with physical altercations Malcolm wanted out of the relationship. I think that was one of her problems. I did get a phone call from Chloe. She was crying. Malcolm fell. They were on their way to the hospital. I was in shock. The story I got was Malcolm stepped back and fell sideways. There's no way I can believe the story she gave me. Something she did that night caused him to fall. I believe she got mad. He was probably trying to dodge her. Or she pushed him and he fell over. When I was at the hospital, I looked over at Chloe and I said, what are you not telling me? Chloe said, I've told you everything that happened. She sat at the hospital for 4 days. I think that she stayed because she was worried that he would come to and let us know what was going on. The more I observed Chloe at the hospital, the guiltier she looked. Malcolm fell November 14th. He died on December 3rd. I am 100% sure she has something to do with his death.
Well, Chloe says what happened was a freak accident and says she wouldn't put her hands on the man she loved.
I want to come on the Dr. Phil show to clear my name. I loved Malcolm and had every intention to spend the rest of my life with him. He got me a ring for my birthday and gave all these reasons why he loved me. I did not kill him. The night Malcolm passed away, I had been trying to get a hold of him for a couple hours. Finally, I heard him coming up the stairs and came out and came down the hall and stopped at the top of the flight. He was on the flight between the second and the third story. I was angry, I will admit that, and I was yelling. I said, "Where have you been? What have you been doing?" He didn't have even time to respond to me. He stepped down to the next step and just lost it and went top heavy over the side. There were a good 4 or 5 steps between us. It wasn't even like I was close enough to grab him. I watched him fall all the way till he hit the ground. I could tell that his head smacked really hard. I ran down the stairs screaming. Malcolm was rushed to the hospital, and they later said that he had severe head trauma. I was at the hospital for 4 days straight. I couldn't bring myself to leave. We were very much in love. He was my best friend. While we were in the hospital, Stephanie and his family were very understanding. After Malcolm passed, Stephanie did a complete 180. Stephanie never even contacted me. I found out through a friend. I knew nothing, and no one would tell me anything. Stephanie is wrong. I never pushed Malcolm. I was in no way responsible for his death.
Well, Chloe and Stephanie have not seen each other in about 3 months. Let me say to both of you, I'm very sorry for your loss. I know it's terrible. I, as a parent, we're not supposed to bury our children, right?
Right.
When you learned about this, what was your first thought? What was your first instinct? Did you think this was just a terrible accident?
When I first heard of it, I wouldn't allow myself to think it was as bad as it was.
And when this happened, did you know it was serious right away?
Obviously, I didn't know. You know, I wanted to get him to the hospital.
Well, he had fallen 3 stories, right?
Yeah. And I mean, he started bleeding almost instantaneously. So I knew that there was something that had happened.
Okay. And did I hear you say, I didn't really care much for her before? I didn't think she was right for Malcolm?
Right. I met Chloe at the beginning, maybe when she was still in school. When they were in school is when I met Chloe. And she was good then. She said she was going to college. She was, you know, it seemed like she had her head on her shoulders. And when they really started dating, I think it was maybe a year later is when I really got to know her. She moved in.
Did you really not like her very much?
No, not really. I mean, she's okay, but she's not right for she wasn't right for my son.
You said she is...
The devil.
The devil.
Yeah.
Manipulative, a liar?
Yes, everything I've known is a lie, basically.
So you fully believe, as you sit here right now, you are sitting across from the woman that pushed your son over a rail and killed him.
Right.
You are sitting across from a woman that pushed your son over the rail and killed him.
Right. That's what I believe. I just cannot believe that he just fell. Malcolm was not clumsy like that. He wasn't a klutz. He didn't.
Was he drunk?
He was drinking. From my understanding, he was drinking, but he was not drunk. She said he
was either drunk or he wasn't. I mean, there was an autopsy done. They took readings. He was either drunk or he wasn't.
Right.
You know that.
Yeah, and they didn't say he was drunk. He had alcohol in his system, but they did not say he was drunk.
Would it change your opinion if you knew he was drunk?
No. The only thing that would change my opinion is to take a polygraph and them tell me that she passed and she didn't put her hands on him. That's the only thing that would make me change my mind.
Did you put your hands on him?
No.
You did not cause him to go over that rail.
No.
You didn't push him. You didn't take a swing at him. He didn't duck back and fall over. You were not in a physical altercation with him, resulting in him going over that railing.
No.
How far away from him were you when he went over the rail?
A good at least 3 stairs, at least 3 steps.
So you couldn't have reached him if you wanted to?
Yeah, because, I mean, a lot of people were harassing me, saying that I should have caught him or I should have gone over the railing with him. Like, I would have done anything. Anything. Like, I wanted to marry that man and spend the rest of my life with him. I would have done anything to save him.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a break. We're going to find out what Stephanie did after her suspicions of Chloe grew while Malcolm was in a coma. We'll be right back.
I was actually banned from Malcolm's funeral.
I was tired of the act. She wanted people to see her grieving. It was about Chloe.
And later, why did he fall?
I thought that I heard her say that she pushed him.
Tomorrow, the pastor.
You went on this escort website to sell insurance.
The call girl.
You told me she was an insurance client.
Would this fall under life or disability?
The confession.
I said it was a wrong relationship.
No, you called it an affair.
You spent over $60,000.
Who is this mystery woman?
You won't believe what she had to say.
Then on Wednesday, a teacher has sex with a student.
He was never my student.
Well, until that night.
But here's the twist.
Tanya is suing Tristan. She says she is the real victim here.
Wednesday.
2 days after Malcolm was pushed off the balcony, Chloe said, "This will be if I get charged with this." Who thinks like that if you're innocent?
Chloe's boyfriend, Malcolm, fell over a rail in an apartment building and died in December. She was the only witness. Chloe says Malcolm's family did a complete 180 on her while Malcolm was in the hospital.
I was actually banned from Malcolm's funeral. No one let me know when it was.
I couldn't allow her at the funeral not knowing if she killed him or not.
Stephanie did not want to make any accommodations for me. I couldn't come in after or before.
I was tired of the act. She wanted people to see her grieving. It was about Chloe.
There were threats made to me, telling me that if I came, they would smash my head in. Some people said that if they saw me, that they were going to shoot me.
I had my son Malcolm cremated. One, because I didn't want to go to the graveyard and see him, but I wasn't going to allow her to do it either. He's at home. He's where he's supposed to be.
Chloe says after she was banned from Malcolm's funeral, the accusations came pouring in, and so did the threats.
People message me and are just like, "I heard you pushed him." A couple days ago, I got a message about, "Hey, can you tell Malcolm I said hey?" Like it was supposed to be funny or something. It's become a racial thing. People don't even know who I am. They just know that his white girlfriend killed him. They don't know how he died, what happened. It's gotten quite out of hand. That's to the point now where I want to delete all of my social media. Why did you push him off the balcony? I went out with a couple of my friends, and my friends posted photos, and that's where the comments were made. "You all have the nerve to be kicking it with the enemy, so that makes me the enemy." The harshest thing they've called me is the Kansas City Killer. I haven't responded to the messages I get. I have stayed quiet this whole time. My friends were his friends, and his friends were my friends, and so now I really have no one at all.
Reba, thank you for being here. You've been listening to the show so far. These are very serious accusations, and I can't find a basis for the allegation other than you're obviously in pain from your loss, which I understand, and I'm very sorry for your loss as well. I know it's terrible. Other than the fact that she was present at the time, what is the basis for the allegation? I don't understand.
Chloe has a history of putting her hands on Malcolm. She's abusive, basically. I think the doubt comes from the fact that so many different people tell us so many different stories that she said. Miranda, her sister, was telling people that she did it, and we hear from the police that she refuses to take the polygraph test. To me, if I'm innocent and I know things happened the way that I said they happened, I would have taken the test. I would have asked to take it before they asked me to take it. So then there is no doubt. It's over with.
They were told that you said, "I should have hit him harder."
Yes, one of the boys in the apartment tried to tell the officers that he heard me say I should have hit you harder. But no one else in the apartment heard it.
Did you say I should have hit him harder?
No, I said, I mean, I came out the door like I said in my video. I said something to the effect of, "Where had you been?" And he had no time to even respond. And that's not even a logical statement to say. Why would someone say, "I should have hit you harder," as he's laying at the bottom of the stairs? Or, "Where did you expect me to, like, what had happened? How do you play that out? When would I have said that?"
So you were having an argument. You were yelling at him.
I wouldn't call it an argument because he didn't even have time to respond.
And you were yelling at him.
Yeah, I yelled. Yes, I was like, "Where have you been? What have you been doing?" Something to that effect, because I was angry that he had not been answering me.
Okay. I've been doing this a long time, and somebody that's trying to cover and misdirect, why would she admit that she's yelling at him if she's trying to cover up? She said, "Yeah, I came out of the door yelling at him."
Well, when she take the polygraph test and kill it all.
Well, she doesn't have to take a polygraph test.
Well, we know that. But she's my family, and she cares and loves us, so give me that closure.
But
I haven't done anything to Chloe. I haven't talked about her.
Well, other than say she's a devil and manipulative and a compulsive liar and lazy and messy and entitled and whorish, you've called her everything but decent.
Right.
Other than that.
Right. But that's just now. That's not something that has been going on. I didn't even do that when the situation was going on. I've never called Chloe and talked about her, threatened her, or anything ever. And she knows that. I was asked, and I wanted to let y'all know how I really felt.
So, was he drunk? I mean, is there an alternative explanation? We're going to answer that question. And next, Stephanie says Chloe's story about how Malcolm fell kept changing. We're going to find out what she says the three versions were when we come back. Plus, we're going to add Chloe's sister to the mix and see what she can straighten out. We'll be right back.
People were actually making all kinds of crazy accusations. She pushed him, she punched him. People need somebody to blame when somebody dies, and everybody's blaming Chloe.
And later,
Malcolm would want you to take the test so his mama could move on.
I shouldn't even be accused because, like, they know how much I loved Malcolm.
This February, more emotion, more surprises, more drama, and we're just getting started.
I had a traumatized 3-year-old girl saying, "My daddy hurt me."
Where is he gonna hurt you at?
A child does not say those things unless she was coached.
You cannot coach a 3-year-old. Ask anyone.
that is coaching.
I came here to help my daughter, and you turned this into a giant circus.
I'm done.
When we were in the hospital, Chloe told my sister and I that Miranda was going around telling everyone that Chloe did it, that she pushed him. Chloe asked her, "Why are you saying that?" And she said that's what she thought she heard. There's no way I would tell a story like that about my sister. Either Miranda was lying or Chloe told her that she did it.
Well, Stephanie claims Chloe's sister Miranda heard Chloe admit she pushed Malcolm over the rail. But Miranda says not true, and Chloe is being attacked and wrongly accused.
Malcolm's spirit was joyful, funny, outgoing, and courageous. If Malcolm had a voice right now, I know that he would want Chloe and Stephanie to come together. Seeing them fighting is probably one of the most heartbreaking things he has to see. People were actually making all kinds of crazy accusations. She pushed him, she punched him. I want everybody to hear what Chloe has to say and hear her side of the story. People need somebody to blame when somebody dies, and everybody's blaming Chloe. I wish that someday Chloe and Stephanie will be able to get along. Hopefully this will ease their minds and hearts and that they can move on from it all.
Well, Miranda, thank you for joining us. Did your sister Chloe tell you that she pushed Malcolm over the rail?
No, she did not.
Did she tell you that she hit him?
No.
Did she tell you that she should have hit him harder?
No.
Did you hear her tell anyone else that she should have hit him harder?
No.
Do you believe that she pushed him over the rail?
No, I do not.
Has she confided in you any time then or since then that she caused his death directly or indirectly in any way?
No, she did not.
You guys are saying that she said what?
Chloe said that Miranda was the one telling people that she did it.
And
so
that is true.
That is
true. We were in the hospital in the family room all together.
Right.
I was on the phone with Miranda because a friend of mine had messaged me and was asking me what was going on, and that he had talked to Miranda, and Miranda had said that I pushed him. So I called her, obviously, to say, you know, why are you saying this? And she's like, is that not what you said? And I said, no, that's not what I said.
Did you think she told you she did it?
I thought that's what I heard. And then
What'd you think you heard her say?
I thought that I heard her say that she pushed him.
You know, obviously she heard wrong. I didn't say that. Because if I hadn't confided in her and I killed him, then why would my sister be saying that? Why would my sister go out and say that I killed him if I was trying to hide it and cover it up and confide in her? Because the first thing I would say would be like, oh, don't tell anybody this.
But you thought she told you that, and you went and told people.
Right.
But I didn't say not to say.
So you forgot to say, don't tell nobody.
No, because if I killed someone, I would say something.
Well, tell me, let's assume, and I'm not saying you said it, but let's assume that's what you think you heard.
I didn't really comprehend it. Like I didn't comprehend in my head when she was talking to me.
Well, what part of it didn't you get? We had a fight and I pushed him over the rail. Let's break that sentence down. We had a fight. You got that part?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I pushed him over the rail. You got that part?
Yes.
So putting those together, we had a fight and I pushed him over the rail. What part of that did you not comprehend?
When her and I were talking, I wasn't awake. Like I was still half asleep when she called me.
That's kind of a Folgers moment, right? I mean, you pick up the phone and your sister says, "I just murdered my boyfriend." Isn't that kind of
dead at that time?
Isn't that kind of a wake-up call? But I mean, isn't that a wake-up moment? Don't you kind of go, whoa, wait a minute?
I mean, yeah, I guess I would have, but
did you ask any follow-up questions?
No.
What did you say that she may have misunderstood as I pushed him over the rail?
I don't really remember the conversation that she confused. I'm assuming she probably asked me, what happened. I told her that he fell. I believe that she asked me, did you push him? And I said no in the conversation.
Well, if you didn't push him, why did he fall? Stephanie says when she saw pictures of the scene where Malcolm fell, she had even more questions. We're going to talk about that when we come back. He was drunk, step back and come back. You could come on back.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think I'd be able to fall back.
And later, if she were to take a polygraph.
If she didn't touch him, I can't hold it against her. I just want to move on. I have to look at my son on my table every day when I come home. That's ridiculous to me. Chloe gave me 3 different stories on how Malcolm fell over the balcony. He stepped back and fell sideways and got top heavy. His foot got caught in the rail and he fell over. He was leaning on the rail and fell over. I don't understand how she has 3 interpretations of one story.
Well, just this past November, Stephanie's son, Malcolm, tragically fell over a stairway railing 15 feet high and passed away from massive brain trauma. The only person with Malcolm the night he fell, the moment that he fell, was his girlfriend, Chloe, who Stephanie and her sister, Reba, think is responsible for Malcolm's death. And they say that she's changed her story at least 3 times as to what happened that night. Now, first, let's take a look at a picture of where this took place at this apartment building, because I would like to know where he was at the time. And, you know, we can see here that these are split stairways, correct? And by that, I mean that you go up and there's a landing, and you go up and there's a landing, and you go up. So they're not all one. It's 1, 2, 1, 2. So when you say he was part way up, do you mean he had come up this portion here and was on this landing, or was he partially up this stairway here?
The top stairway.
So he was actually on the incline.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you're saying that he had been drinking, but they said he wasn't drunk.
Right.
They pumped his stomach out at the hospital.
Yeah, as soon as he got to the hospital.
Well, we did get a medical report from the night that Malcolm fell. This was November 14th of 2015. And it says that he did consume alcohol before the fall. Law enforcement officers here. The patient may have had an altercation with a girlfriend. Toxicology, alcohol quantitative, less than 10 milligrams per deciliter, 125 milligrams. Now, there's a conversion rate that you can do there to the blood alcohol content level, and that would be a 0.125. So he was intoxicated that night. And let's take a look at what that means at that level. At a 0.10, that would be equivalent of about 5 alcoholic drinks. There's a clear deterioration of reaction time and control. You would have slurred speech, poor coordination, and slowed thinking. Now, at 0.15, and he was at 0.125, so it's halfway in between these, you would have far less muscle control than normal, enough so that vomiting may occur, and you would have a major loss of balance. I had constructed a replica of the steps here with the exact specifications in terms of the rise of the step and the height of the rail. And I understand Malcolm was 5'10".
Yes.
Okay. And he weighed what?
About 180, 190.
Okay. All right. So before the show, I asked for a volunteer from the audience that's 5'10" and weighs about the same as Malcolm. Could I get you to step up now, if you would? Your name?
I'm Matt.
Matt, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
If you would step up on the steps, if you'd step up, another one, maybe one more. You were saying if he was here, you say that he caught his right foot, right?
The right foot is the one that stepped back, yes.
Okay, that he stepped back with his right foot.
Yes.
Okay, and if you would, step back with your right foot, and at that point, he turned
and
that way.
Just like that. If he would go just like straight that direction, just like that.
And he was drunk, so illegally intoxicated. Come on over backwards a bit. Keep your foot on the top. Come on back over there. Okay. You could come on back.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think I'd be able to fall back.
Okay. All right, thank you. What's your reaction to what you just saw?
I just think if he stepped back, I don't see how he fell over the rail. If he stepped back, how come he didn't tumble down the stairs? It just doesn't make sense to me. You don't step back on a stairwell and fall sideways. You're going to tumble down the stairs.
Well, that certainly could happen. There's a reason that OSHA, there's a reason that the government has raised those rails another 6 inches. Because historically, People do fall over those rails at this height for a variety of reasons. The point is, it can happen. It doesn't mean it did happen.
Right.
But it certainly means that it can happen. Chloe says that she wants to prove her innocence, but Stephanie and Reba want to know why she hasn't jumped at the opportunity to take a polygraph. Well, we're going to ask Chloe when we come back.
My baby's dead.
Well,
that's why I didn't bring you out here. I brought her out here. I don't know why you're here.
Well, we're not here to. Let's not go there.
What?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, the pastor.
You went on this escort website to sell insurance.
And the call girl.
You told me she was an insurance client.
Would this fall under life or disability?
That's tomorrow.
Closed captioning provided by...
Look at this face. You think I'd feed him anything but the best? That's why he gets Blue Buffalo. Because when you love him like family, you want to feed him like family.
I really want Chloe to take a polygraph. She refused.
I have extreme anxiety, and that was a fear of mine that I would maybe fail.
She has a lawyer in her family that told her not to do it.
I'm open to doing one. It's more so that my attorney / my grandfather has advised me not to. I would think that he would know what's best.
This is the one thing I think that could give me closure.
I don't know if I will ever take one.
Well, after the tragic loss of her son, Malcolm, Stephanie says she just can't move on until she knows the truth from Malcolm's girlfriend, Chloe, the only person who was with him the night he fell. Now, Stephanie and her sister, Reba, believe that Chloe's silence is an admission of guilt and says Malcolm's death is on Chloe's hands. You say that you don't know that you'll ever take a polygraph, that you've been advised by a family lawyer to not take one.
My grandfather, actually, yes.
And he said, don't take a polygraph.
Yeah, he told me that as far as a legal standpoint, even if I were to pass and they would say, oh, she didn't kill him, if I would have messed up on one of the questions or they would have seen signs of, you know, maybe lying, that it would give the detectives rooms to investigate. He also felt like, you know, it's ridiculous. I loved Malcolm. I would never, you know, I would never have done that. So.
If she were to take a polygraph, in fairness, you said that you would still feel like she contributed to his death because they were fighting and arguing and she was in his face and contributed to it.
Correct.
So,
not saying...
In fairness, you might say, well, okay, so she didn't push him over it, but she still contributed to the fact that he's not here.
Right. I mean, but I can't hold that against her. You know what I mean?
I say or I do.
No, I can't hold it against her. We'll never be cool. I'm just going to be honest. It'll never happen. It will not happen, period. But I can't hold that against her. If she didn't touch him, I can't hold it against her. I just want to move on. I've been in my job for 15 years. I haven't been able to go to work. I just want to get this over with. Period. That's all I asked her to do. Just take the test for me. You say you love me and my family so much, take the test and get it over with. Just let me know this one thing. You're here. My son is gone. I have to look at my son on my table every day when I come home. That's ridiculous to me.
I shouldn't even be accused because, like, they know how much I loved Malcolm. Like, she used to tell me that I would never leave him. They know that.
How much you loved him, but I know how when you get angry, how you go after him, too. That's my problem. And I've told you about putting your hands on him. So you knew what you did. So for me, if you really ever really cared about me, you would take the test and let me be done with it. But if you're worried about yourself, I get it. You're worried about yourself and you don't want to be, you know, in trouble or whatever to investigate it. So I get that. Do you? But if you really cared about me, if you ever cared about me and Malcolm, y'all say what Malcolm would have wanted. Malcolm would want you to take the test so his mama could move on. Because you knew, if nothing else, my baby loved me. My baby was for me no matter what. So if you loved me, if you really loved my baby, you would take the test so I can move on.
Yeah,
period.
But Malcolm's mama ain't going to move on, is the point.
You just said that you weren't.
No, I will. I can't. Like I said, we'll never be cool. We'll never be cool.
You brought us out here.
Never had to, but why? Because she wouldn't take the test at home.
Well,
my baby's dead.
Well,
that's why I didn't bring you out here. I brought her out here. I don't know why you're here.
Because I'm sticking up for her.
You ain't a part of this story, though. Really?
Well, I invited her.
In what way?
I know, I get it.
I invited
Your son
her
lived
here.
in my house.
What house?
Whoa, we're not here to. Let's not go there.
What, family that you never had?
Let's not deteriorate here. Let's not do this to Malcolm. Let's not do this to Malcolm. When we come back, I'm going to tell both sides what I think is the straightest line from where they are to getting some peace on both sides of this. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL. At some point, you've got to make a goal to accept and find some peace in the reality of what is. Because nothing you can do, whether she gets prosecuted and convicted and put in jail, or she doesn't, you know that won't bring Malcolm back. And if you're being honest, whether she takes a polygraph and passes it or not, it's not going to substantially change the way you feel about her. It may change one element where you say, okay, maybe she didn't actually shove him over the rail, but you feel like she shoved her way into his life. You feel like she was controlling with him. You feel like she was possessive with him. You feel like she was intrusive with him. You feel like if she hadn't been in his life, he would be alive today. So you're going to tie that can to her tail, whether she passes that polygraph or whether she doesn't. And there are only two people that know what happened on that stairway, and one of them is no longer alive. There's only two people that know.
Right.
And look, if I were you and I had a grandfather that was an attorney and he was telling me not to take a polygraph, I would have to weigh that very carefully. The decision is always yours. And you can make that decision. And if you feel like you're being convicted in the court of public opinion and you want to prove to people that you didn't do this, then you can take a polygraph. And I will make Jack Tremarco available to you if you want to take a polygraph exam. Would you like to take a polygraph exam? Ready to get real? Go to drphil.com for advice on relationships, parenting, finances, and more. Plus, weigh in on your favorite episodes, share your stories, and find support in the Dr. Phil community. When you sign up for the community, you will automatically be subscribed to the Dr. Phil Show newsletter. Log on to drphil.com today. People that have nothing to hide, hide nothing. And I think there are some things that look very suspicious here. Have I made a conclusion that you pushed him over that rail? I absolutely have not made that conclusion. Not even almost have I made that conclusion. I built a model. I asked him to come up and help us here. I think we've shown that that certainly could possibly happen, that someone that was intoxicated and stepped back could fall over that rail. I think that's why OSHA's increased the height of those rails. I think that is certainly physically possible to happen. But then on the other hand, your own sister says you called her up and said you pushed him over the rail, and she's out telling people. That doesn't look good for you in the court of public opinion.
Right.
Would you like to talk to Jack Tremarco?
Yeah, I told the
Would you like to take a polygraph exam?
I would speak with him, yes.
Would you like to take a polygraph exam?
I mean, we can talk about it. Because this is a serious accusation.
It certainly is a serious accusation.
This isn't like, oh, I cheated on him.
No, I agree. And you tell your grandfather, I respect what he's telling you. And he'll see this. You tell him, I told him, if you need to weigh very carefully and seriously what a lawyer tells you to do.
Right.
You need to weigh that very carefully. And I will make efforts to bring this to fruition, and I will add the circumstance of that into the show. So everybody at home will know, and all of you will know what took place in that regard. And I will try and get answers for everybody. You'll at least know that she's talked to what I consider to be the best in the country. And if she declines, then you'll know that. And perhaps that'll be data. And if she chooses to do it, then you'll know the results of that. And hopefully we'll get at least that degree of closure. And I do hope that you focus on Malcolm and give yourself permission to grieve that loss, because that's an important part of your relationship with him, is grieving his loss and changing your relationship with him from the physical to the spiritual. And you can't do that with anger standing in the way. It changes that. And I hope you give yourself permission to do that, because you deserve that and he deserves that. And so I hope at some point you give yourself permission to get past that, and so you can close that gap between you and Malcolm, because anger stands between you and Malcolm right now. And I hope you can do that, and I hope you can as well. That's one thing the two of you have in common, is that you both love the same person, and we'll hope we can get there. We're going to stop for now. I don't want this to deteriorate. I think we've taken the high road here so far, and let's just leave it right there. We will see you next time, and thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.
Okay.